Toga, 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 toga,
Hello, welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Today we're going to cover the betting strategy show for the big stakes races this Saturday at Saratoga, the Spa. I'm going to cover all the betting strategy for the relevant stakes races, including the big Whitney, obviously. If you're new to the betting strategy show, I do a couple of different things. I do a preview show earlier in the week. I suggest you look at that first. It just kind of shows past performance races. I kind of break down the horses and do some different things like that. This one's different. This one's more handicapping angle, trying to find speed and different numbers on the past performances, which I will show you on the video, which is a bonus. I'll also be covering, since I'm covering all these stakes races in one video, I'll have timestamps so you can jump back and forth to whichever race you want to look at. So all that and more. So basically, I recommend you to check out the preview videos for both Saratoga Derby and the Test Stakes. That was one video. And then I did a separate solo video for the Whitney. And then there's a couple of undercard races other than that I'm just going to include in this betting strategy show. So we got a lot to cover. So all I ask, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Smash the like. Leave a comment. Tell me who you got in the Whitney, and let's get started. All right. Well, we're going to start with the 9th race, which is actually the Saratoga Derby Invitational. It's 1.125 miles on the turf for 3-year-olds, and we got a lot to get to. So let's get started with Mondego, trained by Christopher Clement, ridden by Joel Rosario. I did speak in my preview video on how he led the Belmont Derby into the stretch, but he gave way late to Farbridge, and that was at 1.25 miles. As you can see here on the third place finish, he actually got nipped by the Foxes at the wire. So he may improve at the shorter distance, and his best turf speed is fast. So that 98 was solid. That was his first real big boy event. So that puts him square in the mix. I'm going to give him a puncher's chance in this one. So number 2 is going to be Program Trading, and that's Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt aboard. And Program Trading is, I like the way that he won his first 2 starts. Chad Brown has 16 graded stakes wins this season on the turf. So this one passes the eyeball test, and I'd have him considered. Aspen Grove is actually one I didn't cover because it wasn't on the list of like contenders or possibles or probables or whatnot. But Aspen Grove is a filly and trained by James Stack, ridden by Johnny V, John Velasquez. And she recently won the Belmont Oaks, closing hard, rallying. And the 9 horse in this race, and this is just because the only reason I'm showing you the race is because I didn't have her in the preview show the other day. So I just wanted to take a look at this race. And you can see she's the 9 horse. She got out slow, and she settled inside for most of the race. But when room opened up for her down the stretch, she capitalized on it. So I can consider her a definite contender. Prime Power has her second-rated horse. It is hard to do on these horses from overseas that run in Ireland and France and whatnot, because we don't have like the speed figures and all the other good stuff that goes along with it. But I think a jump from the 88 would be warranted. So that puts her in the mix. And plus, by the way, 119 pounds, you're getting the Philly discount of 3 pounds off the bags. So that's, little things help. Number 4 is the Franchise, and that's Joseph O'Brien and Luis Saez. I'm content to let this one beat me. I'm not really seeing it. I know it says 50% trainer, but I don't know what that means. But I'll pass on that one. Get to my big boy here, far contender. Sire is English Channel. I had him in the last race, the Belmont Derby, which he won, and trained by Todd Pletcher, ridden by Jose Ortiz. Once again, Jose jumped aboard for that winning ride, and he's I guess kind of undefeated on this horse because he won back in March aboard this horse as well. So I love this horse. I love when you have all the stars on the left here, and you got the hot trainer jockey combo last 14 days and all that kind of good stuff. So he's going to be my top choice. Probably not a big no brainer there. He's 2-1 favorite in the morning line odds. Number 6, Web Slinger, Mark Casse, Javier Castellano. Ran a pretty decent one in the Belmont. I think he got shuffled way back. He was like last to first or last to fourth. Made a rally. I think they was bumped somewhere along the way and got pushed, shuffled back too far. I know some of his races he's been shuffled back, but he never gets there when he does. But when he's a little bit closer on the lead and more in the mix, he can hit that closing stride pretty good. So I give him a better chance, in this race than the previous one. Ran a 97, so I think there's improvement to be had there. Number 7, Battle of Normandy, Shug McGahee, Tyler Gaffalione, and beaten by a weaker. When you get the bullet points on the right here, that's not what you want to see, Bob. So best speed rating, well below average. And I mentioned his stakes, graded stakes type stuff. So not so much on Sugar. So I'm going to pass on Normandy. This one, 8, I mentioned in the previous preview video, Lion of War, Charlie Johnston from the UK. And it's going to be, I guess it's Oyson Murphy is the jock, which is fine. But I spoke about this one in the preview, and I showed that race. Go check it out. It's really interesting how I pointed him out on the inside, and he got caught kind of hemmed in. And then once he broke free, he ran through for second in this handicap at Ascot. So it says beaten by weaker. His 4.5-1 odds, so that's like 9-2. So I don't know. I guess maybe the horse that won was a higher odds horse. I don't know. But anyway, I kind of like him in the exotics, maybe like tries and supers. So I'll keep that in mind. Number 8 was Lion of War. And number 9 is Truly Quality. I got my numbers mixed up. Truly Quality, 97 speed rating in that maiden win, at 90K. So this one's probably an up-and-comer. Jonathan Thomas trained Irad Ortiz aboard, so they got the high percent jock. That's half the battle. And then so it's possible that this horse can get in the mix. So and I don't really pay attention to these track biases all that much, but 33% on the early pace in the rail. The rail's not getting much love, so the more the outside horses are getting the love. But the early and the speed, it's pretty dialed across the board. So I'm not really going to read too much into that. So what I want to do now is I want to make my way over to the betting calculator and take a look at what I got here. Let's clear it. And this is going to be an exacta or a trifecta. I'm just going to leave it on trifecta. This was a really, really tough one to handicap besides the 5-horse, which I knew I liked from the beginning. So if I did anything like with a try, I would probably just single the 5 on top. And then I'm going 1, 2, 3. And then I think the 6 Web Slinger and the 8 is actually that's going to be the 9 Truly Quality. So something like that would be a $20 trifecta, and that's the key over 5. So you're basically like boxing 5 horses, I guess. But that's kind of how I would run that. And if I can get 2-1 or better on Farbridge, it's a win bet. Probably win bet anyway. I do believe there's a money back special involved, so I'll just probably put the required money down for that on my man Farbridge. So that brings us to the next race. And that race is going to be the test. And like I said, there will be timestamps here, so you'll see them plain as day, and you'll be able to click where you want to. This one, the test is a 7 furlong graded 1 stakes for fillies 3 years old. And I did speak to this in the preview video. Pretty mischievous. I always say it both ways. You cover your basis, right? You say it both ways. So anyway, still the one to beat in my opinion. Now a lot of these horses are route runners. Some of them are sprinters, but the 7 furlongs and the difference between 7 furlongs and a mile and a 16th is not super bad. But the cutback in distance for a horse like Pretty Mischievous, when they hit the straightaway first place, all you got to do is probably just move a little bit sooner than you normally would. Tyler Gaffleone knows that. 57 days off, not bad either. But the rail post, you get that in on top of being the favorite at 9-5. So 25% clip on the rail post, looking pretty good. So I think obviously it's going to be, if I went to single, if that would be my probably first choice single, but I won't be doing that this race. But it is going to be on the winning side of what I'm looking at. So next up is Clearly Unhinged. Mike McCarthy, Javier Castellano. I like this one as well. And she's interesting in that it's possible she improves from that 91, and it wouldn't take that big of a leap if everybody stays medium. You could jump 5 to 7 and put you right there. And the jockey upgrade from Rispoli to Javi, always good. So she's going to be underneath in exotics. And the jumping class, she ran in the grade 2 Oaks and made a good effort here. So I don't think that it's she was a step slow, but I don't think that the class jump is all that big a deal. But it is significant enough to not put her on top, or not put him on top. So, excuse me. Tapping Josie beaten by Weaker, all the bad stuff on the right, bullet points. We don't really want that for our fillies. So I'm going to pass on Tapping Josie. Jersey Pearl was one I did kind of like. I like that race going away, running off with it at 9.5 open, driven home is always a good thing. And, these OCs, no stakes experience, which is a downer, but got some good high percentage jockey. Luis Saez aboard. Darren Miller trains. So I think maybe in the exotics could be in the mix. So 5, Interpolate, is Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt aboard. And this one got kind of clunked up, bobbled at the start, and got way behind in this Victory Ride grade 3. And the Victory Ride, the winner of that Victory Ride, just basically blew the field away. So Maple Leaf Mel got out front and never looked back. So this horse was pretty much dead from the jump, and then made a rally to finish 4th. So I don't take that race into account as much as I would something like the Beaumont grade 2 at 7, where he ran a 90, or she ran a 96 and was in the mix, stalking the pace, close to a neck, bid and was denied. I rewatched that race, and it was a very, very good looking race. So I think that we'll be looking good with this one in the mix at nice value. So anyway, 6, Darth Vader, 6 to 1. George Weaver trains, Johnny V aboard. So anyway, it had Michael Yates listed as the trainer, but evidently George Weaver picked this horse up right after the 8, or no, right after the Oaks as of 5-5. So Weaver's had this horse for 3 months, so big improvement in the Acorn. But I'm wondering with the 7 furlong distance, if she's not uh doesn't have the speed early on, like first call, second call speed to be in the mix. I think I'll have her underneath, but I'm not sure that she'll get there for the win. Money's Gold, however, I think might be with the cutback in distance in her wheelhouse. Todd Pletcher trained. Irad Ortiz aboard and failed as the favorite in the last 2 starts. So you know that's it's time to show or go, right? Money's Gold. It's time to get the gold and quit pissing it away and get back to this 104 you ran at Tampa. So Acorn grade 1 was leading most of the way and then gave way down the stretch. So the cutback is there. High percent jockey. Best dirt speed is the fastest. So sharp furlong or sharp workout previous. So all the things line up for this horse to be on top of an exacta. Obviously, Maple Leaf Mel, undefeated in 5 starts, stepping up with the top class, grade 1, after winning back-to-back grade 3s. That victory ride where she just tore ass through the field in that one got her picked up by Melanie Giddings. So I wonder if old Melanie isn't Maple Leaf Mel. I didn't look that up, but that's kind of cool. If it is, Joel Rosario aboard 2-1. I think the morning line favorite, not 100 on that one. But leading over here to the wager calculator, and we'll bump it over to exacta so we can clear it. And I think what I'm probably going to end up doing here, let's see if I've got a bet here. Yes, I do. So I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page, and now I'm on the right page. So I do have an exacta, and it's going to be 1, 7, 8. And I believe I'm going to throw the 4 and the 5 in for the long value. Those 2 horses hopefully will go off double-digit odds and have a chance to get in there in that second. And like I said, I think the Money's Gold. I think Maple Leaf Mel, and I also think that this one horse will get in the mix as well. So what I want to do now is I want to jump over to race number 6, which is going to be the Troy Stakes. And these are I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit on. So the Troy Stakes, we can kind of go through and you can look at it, take a screenshot if you'd like of the past performances. Thin White Duke, I think is going to be in the mix. I do believe I have this one underneath. So anyway, the Troy is a 5.5 furlongs on the turf, by the way. So Thin White Duke, I have my eye on, and I think this one maybe as well. I haven't decided on how I'll spread underneath, but I think I'm going to have the 1 and the 2 underneath, and then it's between the 4 and the 7 for me. Cogburn, I don't think has the speed moving up in class as well. Caravel is probably you're going to be your 3 to 5 favorite. Big speed, so definitely up on top on that one. And then Grooms All Business, too many red flags, so I'll be content to pass on that one. And Mr. That one will probably also be a pass. Louis Saez, Jason Barkley, but this one is. I thought maybe is it no balls? That's kind of rude, but it might be just nobles, but just no balls with just 1 L. Sometimes they name horses like that. So Larry Ravelli is the trainer, and E.T. Baird is the jockey. This one is kind of interesting. Won the last race. Best turf speed is close. Back-to-back wins. Won this turf sprint at Churchill Downs on May 6th. I believe that was Derby Day. So I like that over Go Bears Go. So Nobles is going to be in the mix. Nothing for Ramunda, and we'll jump over to the wager calculator, and let's reset this. Whoops. I think we'll just do an exacta for you. And these aren't all like my final wagers or anything. I just want to give you an idea on what I'm thinking. And I know most of these are like part wheels, and that's usually how I like to play exactas, because boxing can get, if you go too high on the money, boxing can get expensive, and sometimes you don't have to. Like this race, the 4 and the 7. That's what I said. It's between these two. So I'm going to put the 4 and the 7 on top, and I am going to box. I always box the first and the second, but then I like the 1 and the 2 and those inside posts. I'm not really sure with the turf, 5.5 furlongs on the turf, but the 1 and the 2 looked pretty good to me and good value. So I'm going to add those in underneath for second place. So 1, 2, 4, 7. It's a $6 bet. It's the same if you box 3 horses, or you can, obviously you can exponentially go to wherever you want to go with this and multiply it by however you want. So that's kind of how I get down with those. So on to race number 7, which is the Lure. And this one's all right. It's a mile and a 16th inner turf. 135 grand on the line. So anyway, let's see. This one is inner turf. So a mile and a 16th on the inner turf. So the number 1 horse is Portfolio Company. Chad Brown on the turf. I will back that all day. Joel Rosario, high percent, all that stuff is moving up in class, but I don't know if I'll have him on top or not, but it is Chad Brown. Chad Brown gets him going. Smoking Tees, Shug McGahee, I just not so much. It does have a good shot, and it's not a graded stakes, so maybe he's 19% as a shipper, but I have to take stands somewhere, so I'm going to take a stand against Smoking Tea. Dakota Gold, I am definitely not going to take a stand against. It's going to be on top. So the 3 Dakota Gold has the best speed here and should be closing, and I think can win this race. At 5-2, I read Ortiz aboard. Danny Gargan actually is a high percent trainer in non-graded stakes, 22%. So this was right in Danny's wheelhouse. So Dakota Gold in the mix. This 4 horse I find interesting, Ocean Atlantique, and that's a Michael Maker who I always like on the turf. Luis Saez aboard. Good things to say. Drops in class, may improve at the shorter distance. Ran in back-to-back grade 1s. Now this is just a listed stakes, I think. So this is big time racing, even though he does get his head caved in against in the Manhattan. But the Turf Classic, he makes a mild rally to 4th place, and it is a cutback in distance. So a large cutback, and all these races down here where are probably similar type company, he runs a 99. If he gets into that range, I think he could offer some really sneaky value here. So number 5, I think I'll pass. I don't know the Grand Motion. This one I might have to take a stand against, but it is a nice horse. Finished 3rd versus Tougher. So the graded 3, graded 1. So I might have to go back and look at that one again. Oh, absolutely. I was looking at the wrong race. I have this one on top. So I was wondering, I'm sitting here looking at these past performances going, how do you not have this horse on top of your exacta? So I do. Anyway, Chaz, no thanks for Chaz. No love for Chaz. Tis the Bomb. When I saw that name, I was like, okay, I recall that. It ran in the Kentucky Derby. It was on the Derby Trail. Ran in JR Stakes. Won that one to get eligible, and ran in the Derby and the Belmont, but just did not fare very well. Middling performances in graded stakes races over his career, and just the one win back all the way in April of 2022. So definitely going to give a big pass to this one, unless you all know something I don't know. Dr. Davis, I think I will pass on as well. Midday Image, not bad, but I've got the horses that I want to play, so I'm going to pass on Midday Image as well, and then we're going to jump over here once again, clear it, and so what I am looking at for the lure is the 1, the 3, and the 5. So 1, 3, and 5. 5 is Speaking Scout, 3 is Dakota Gold, and 1 is Portfolio Company. So those 3 are my main win bets. And then, like I said, that 4 horse has my interest as well. So I got 1, 3, 5 over 1, 3, 4, 5, and that's a $9 wager. 3 over 4. So that's like hopefully that'll get us some kind of value underneath maybe. Every time I've been doing this lately, it's been just straight chalk 1, 2, and my high odds horses are chasing, but they just don't get there. So it's just kind of unfortunate. But anyway, I'll give you guys a half a second while I clear this to catch your breath, because we are on to the main event. This is for $1 million. And that's Dr. Evil. So anyway, the Whitney, 1 1/8, graded 1, 4-year-olds and upward. These are some very good, high quality horses. And we're going to start with number 1, Zandon. And that's Chad Brown trained, ridden by Joel Rosario. And no match. The last 2 out. Of course, Cody's Wish is in this race. Is stretching out a bit from the mile. They all kind of are, but Zandon has run plenty of races going back to Kentucky Derby last year when he ran second. Plenty of second place finishes in graded 1 route races. So this one, he's definitely going to need his best to compete. But I will say this for him. He competes every race. Second, fourth, second, third, win, third, second by a nose. So he is never out of the race. You're never sitting there tearing up your tickets halfway through. So Zandon in the exotics, maybe not on top for the win. But then our one here that I think might be Sneaky Pete, 5-1 Charge It, Tide Pletcher, Johnny V, second in the power rankings. That 109 in the Suburban was boss, just drawing away at 1.25 miles. So actually shortening in distance, which is even more interesting. And if you go back and look at my preview video, I mentioned how smooth this horse looked running, after the initial break, and you get set, everybody gets settled into their positions, and you're just running with that pace. He just looks so comfortable and just a effortless stride. So I'm digging this one, and I'm going to give him a big shot to upset Cody's Wish. Maybe the best shot. I don't know yet. Number 3 is Giant Game, Dale Romans. I talked about Dale Romans in the preview video. Local legendary trainer from around these parts, Louisville, Kentucky. I want to say he went to a local high school, like Butler High School or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, it's not a bad horse. It actually looks a little better this time around. His early pace style should get his name called a couple of times, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold off the high level talent. That was a good grade 3 win, but these are high level. These aren't just like your grade 1 horses. These are like high level grade 1 horses. So he might be in just a hair over his head, as is, I think, Last Samurai, Dwayne Lucas, Flavian Pratt. It's got some good speed figures, but really not doing much damage. So I think he's a little bit over his head as well. White Abario is the one between Chargent and White Abario are the 2 that I kind of have a feeling about, that if anybody were to upset Cody's Wish, it's one of these two. White Barrio looked really good in the mile after kind of stumbled at the start a little bit, but rallied with a mild kick late for the third place finish. And underneath that has got some like I said, he went through a struggle patch after that Florida Derby. If you remember, going all the way back to last year, he won the Florida Derby and was a really good looking horse coming in to the Kentucky Derby, and then was just epic failure. And then ran second, went over to the Ohio Derby and got beat by Tawnyport, which was probably a disappointment for him, being probably the favorite in that race. And then ran in the Haskell and got destroyed there. Well, pretty much destroyed. 34 links. Pennsylvania Derby, Cigar was a little bit better. And then another failure in Grade 1 Company. And early this January. So the backed off to 7 furlongs to get him across the finish line in first, maybe build some confidence. So White Barrio has my attention. I'm really expecting an improvement from this 106. Cody's Wish rounds it out, 110, the only one that cracked the extra 10 points over 100, and that was a monster Met Mile run. I showed that race a few different times. Him sweeping by Zandon and White Barrio, just saying, see you later. Alligator, Junior Alvarado aboard, all the wins. So this horse is locked and loaded. It's like the Muhammad Ali thing. Oh, the only one that can beat me is me. So Cody's Wish, if he's not at his best, then I will look to Charge It or White Barrio. So jumping over here, it's kind of hard to do a wager, but if you wanted to just single the 6 on top, I would just do 1, 2, 5 underneath. And then you can, crank 3 times or whatever you want to do there. And that's the 2 and the 5 are Charge It and White Barrio, like I said. Now, money back specials, things of that nature are on a lot of betting sites like TVG and Twin Spires. So I don't believe TVG has money back special for the Whitney. For some reason, they only did the Saratoga Derby, which is kind of, they really slacked off. TVG has slacked off on its money back specials. Twin Spires, more money back specials, more races. So more robust over there. A lot of people have 2 accounts, but what I'll do is I'll probably put money back special and try to get some value on Charge It. And then, money back special is which actually 6 horses, now that I think about it, they may only do win and place. They probably won't do show on the short field. So who knows? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was kind of long, but remember there's timestamps. So jump around. And until next time, see you soon. Best of luck this weekend. Thanks for watching.